talking about Pulwama. And, since you talk about what all happened that day, February 27th to be specific, Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman flew MiG-21, and then we saw what really played out. You talk about you being in India, and then there was a call that was made to you. Could you elaborate?
Yes, so I received a call around midnight from my counterpart, which was Suhail Mahmood, then High Commissioner of Pakistan to India, who happened to be in Pakistan in Islamabad, and I happened to be in India because post-Pulwama, both of us were pulled in by our governments. And this was a time when Balakot had already happened on the 26th, and Pakistan had reacted on the 27th, and the pilot was in Pakistan's custody. So at this point, there was a request that PM Imran Khan wanted to speak to PM Modi. And I checked and reverted that the Prime Minister is not available, it's midnight, can you tell me what the issue is, and I'm happy to pass on that message. I didn't get a revert on that. But what it demonstrated, I think in hindsight and with this whole narrative, is that Pakistan had reason to believe that the threat from India, the credible threat, there was a credible threat for force, and that was making it change its behavior, particularly towards returning the pilot.
Wing Commander Abhinandan was with Pakistan, and still Pakistan was shaking and sweating.
Well, I think that episode is available on video. It captures the mood at the moment. It captures the dynamics of the diplomacy, and it captures the dynamics of the coercive diplomacy, which is that there was a credible threat of force, that there would be missiles into Pakistan, there would be an escalation by India if Pakistan did not return the pilot and did not change its behavior at that point, and that was making Pakistan change its behavior, whether in the army or in the civilian sector, and therefore the pilot was returned to us on schedule, unharmed. And I think that's a credit to Indian diplomacy at that point.
And you were constantly on call with the then Defense Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. What was the conversations like?
That's right. And there was a delay. We were promised that the pilot would cross over around 5 p.m., but he actually did come much later at around 9 p.m. So we weren't sure if it would happen that day. We'd specially kept the Atari border, the Wagah border open, and but the pilot was delivered at 9 p.m. and we all heaved a sigh of relief. So she wanted a very, very frequent updates on what was happening.
Did it at any point come to you that maybe Pakistan will go back on its words?
Well, nothing can be ruled out. Many Indian prisoners have been killed in Pakistan. Stuff happens. So you can't be sure of anything 100%.
And if that call that came from Pakistan, that Prime Minister Imran Khan wanted to speak to Prime Minister Modi, if that call had happened, what would it have been?
Well, I think that's in the realm of conjecture. We can guess what could have happened if even if he'd taken the call or had spoken to each other. The Indian ask would have been quite clear. Please return the pilot or else.
Did you at any point get that sense that the Indian leadership had that will, but you had much at stake with Wing Commander Abhinandan in the custody of Pakistanis?
Well, it is a risk that you take, a risk policymakers take. And it was clear that India's leadership was coherent in this issue, willing to take risks for getting an Indian citizen out, an Indian soldier out of trouble. And I think the point had been made quite clearly. And I think that only illustrates what Prime Minister Modi said and what then Imran Khan said in his parliament, is that there were these issues, the credible threat of force existed, and the credible threat of force was understood by Pakistan.
You also talk about your informers in ISI. Was that because you were a career diplomat who had spent so many years in Pakistan?
Well, the way it works in diplomacy is that you develop linkages, you make a lot of friends. It's useful for the ISI to be able to have a channel open to the Indian High Commissioner. It's useful for a diplomat to have that channel open with various power centers. So we use creative diplomacy in having friends who have other friends who have other friends, and then being able to have these conversations, if not directly, then indirectly. So that's the stuff of what we do.